Good stuff. Happy New Year, finally. Dang, what a slow start, right? Like, and if you're like me, like I'm ADD, I'm like bored, and like I've been bored for like 10 days, you know. It's just like, can we just start already? On your chair, there's a little, I didn't put them, I didn't know if you wanted it or not, who's going to participate. We're going to do a fast starting tomorrow, 3 weeks. I'll tell you about it this morning. You're going to get 2 weeks of sermon into one, and so plan on staying for lunch. We got extra burritos. But anyway, if you need one, I didn't get them on every chair, and you don't have one, Micah, my son, will be happy to get you one. Hey, meet Micah, my son. What's up? My youngest. Here you go. All right, nobody raise their hand. All right, everybody wants it? Nobody wants it. All right. Okay. Hey, just some quick news. Christopher Dare, you know Christopher Dare's on our teaching team. Pastor Christopher, he, right back here, Micah on this side too later. Don't know if you got a chance to hear his message about 3 weeks ago on joy. It was during the Advent season in December. What you didn't know, because we didn't bring it up to you at that point in time, is that he was facing brain surgery that he had last week. We were going to tell you about it last week, but... So he had brain surgery on Wednesday this week, and everything's good, and he's home now. But it's a great message to listen to, knowing the context now of what he was going through as he preached that message. He was supposed to preach last week for Rod Hallecky at the river. They too didn't have power, and so he put that message online on his Facebook page. Very encouraging stuff, you know. How does a person, a man of God or a person of God, go through difficult situations with hope and with peace and with joy? So anyway, keep praying for he and Melissa. They're watching online. Hey, guys, what's up? And she just had foot surgery, so who's taking care of who? I don't know, but it's like, dang, you know. Here's what I think is a metaphor. So I was thinking about this morning a little bit coming. You know, we're, as a people, and this will fit into our New Year push, we tend to, you know, be very myopic. You know, in fact, we see right here in very close range, and we complain, and we, oh, dang, you know, it snowed. Oh, there's ice on the road. Oh, there's fog. It's cold. It's rainy. Oh, I don't feel good. Oh, and all these things affect and hinder our pursuit, and they undermine our resolve and our perseverance and our resiliency. We say we want to do something, we want to become something, but then there's things that come in the way, right? And so here's what I want to encourage you to do. You know, we were praying this morning before the service, and it's like, yeah, all those things happened last weekend, right? And it's been a slow start to the year. But you know what? I'm not in Ukraine. I don't have bombs going overhead. Those people are without power. We were without power for 4 or 5 days. Oh, my goodness, the world stopped. No, it didn't. Just inconvenienced. You see, we got to kind of get perspective on some things. If you're going to have resiliency this year, if you're going to have perseverance, if you're going to have resolve, if you're going to actually become and accomplish what you dream and desire, you're going to have to fight through some stuff. And so I just thought, you know, it's an interesting way to start off the year. I didn't like it any more than you did, but it's creating in me, like, no matter what's going on the outside, I'm going to continue to do what God's called me to do and who he's called me to be on the inside, right? And I think you're going to have the same resolve. So that's kind of a little backdrop going today. I don't know if you guys got to watch the NCAA National Championship semifinals last week. What? Yep. Well, anyway, the championship game's tomorrow night, if you didn't know it. How you do? Number 3, TCU beat number 2, Michigan, 52-45. Number 4, Ohio State almost upset number 1 ranked and undefeated Georgia. They were up 21-7 at one point in the first half, 38-24 going into the fourth quarter. Ended up losing by 1 point when their kicker missed a field goal with 2 seconds to go. Point being this, these teams, like all other 64 teams going into March Madness, believe one thing, that they can overcome all odds and they can pull out the upset of the century that they actually believe that, and they go in prepared, fighting. And for me, the sermon title today is The Great Defiance. Like they will defy all odds. They don't care what the rankings, what the stats say. They believe in themselves, and they go in defying all odds. So this year, show me the picture there, kid, if you would. I'm going to give you permission to be a rebel. I'm going to give you permission to be a rebel with a cause, not a rebel without a cause, which we typically are. But to fight at all odds, to become or to accomplish that which you dream of and which God's got on his heart for you as well. And so you got to believe that you can. The only thing that's constant in this world, they say, is change. That and taxes, I guess. The question is, will you change? The world will change around you, for sure. Your culture will change. It's a constant. The question is, will you change? Are you going to stay in the ruts that you may find yourself in? Are you actually digging out? Are you believing in yourself? Are you pursuing with resiliency? Are you defying all odds? Because if you don't defy some cultural trends, I mean, you got to swim upstream, right? You got to make a white-knuckle determination to actually become, because no one stands in your way but you. Like, you're not a victim of your circumstances, you're a victim of your choices. When you look back at the end of the year, you got no one to blame but yourself for any regret in your life, things that you did or didn't do. It's on you and the choices you've made. And you may start the year with a good idea and never finish it, and by the end of the year, you're the same. Things changed around you, but you did not. So here's a passage, tattooed on your brain or your arm or your Bible, 1 Corinthians 2:9. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love him. And I'm going to challenge you to trust God this year and let him finish the good work he began in you. To hang on tight no matter whether it snows or rains or good things come or bad things come. You're going to have to work through some of those things and find the resiliency to stay true and trust God. And I believe this passage is clear and true, that if you were to trust God and take hold of his hand for your life, that you would be amazed at the end of the year what he could do with you. I mean, he's going to show up and he's going to reveal himself to you, first off. Oh, I didn't know he was real. I just thought we talked about him on Sunday morning, and we wrote about him in books, and it was sort of the opiate of the people to keep us calm and sedated so that the rulers can do whatever they want and we'll still have hope. No, it's real. And you need to discover that, but you'll only discover it if you give God a shot at being God. So what can God do in and through you in 2023? That's where we're going today. What could the creator of the universe do with you if you gave him full access and followed his lead? I know for many, it's scary. That's a scary proposition that I'm presenting to you this morning, that I'm challenging you with, that I'm encouraging you to give God a shot at doing whatever he wants to do in your life. Yo! It's scary to those folks who, here's who it's scary to. Just think about it. I've thought through this long and hard. Like, why is that a scary thing? Well, it's only scary if you don't trust him. To be good and to have the ability to do in you and through you what he just said, what no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived, what God has prepared for those who love him. But we're scared, and this is where we stop. Because we've been in control, and we like control. We like to kind of think that we're determine the outcome, but guess what? 99% of the variables are out of your control. You can do what you can do. You can work hard work ethic, make your plans, but God directs your steps. And certainly the enemy is there to thwart those plans. And if we learn anything from New Year's, right, we learn a few things. When we make New Year's, it's like Nothing really changed. It's just the day after yesterday and the day before tomorrow. You haven't changed, well, except you're maybe 5 pounds heavier after the holidays, right? So that changed, but really nothing's changed. We just say, oh, Happy New Year. What does that mean? And so, well, 3 things that happen is the date is changed, which means time is ticking and you're not going to get time back. So what are you going to do with it? 2, most of us don't have the resolve to even stick with a New Year's resolution for 2 weeks. Therefore, what makes you think you're going to accomplish any of your goals? And 3, for those who do think they have the resiliency to accomplish what they want, they don't necessarily know what they want, or if they do get what they want, that really was meaningful and worth sacrificing for. So we learned some things, and so I want to challenge you right now, kind of first Sunday of the year, to consider what God might do in you and what God might do through you in 2023. Now, when we think of New Year's, most of our resolutions are this. It's like, my resolution is to improve me. And what I mean by that is I want to improve this, this, and a little whitener on the teeth, a little new hairdo maybe, a little workout exercise. I'm going to get my finances in order, and I'm going to buy a new car. I want to get that boat, or I want to take that vacation. Everything revolves around moi, right? What does God want to do in you in 2023? So I suggest to you that God's not as interested in the things you're interested in. And the things He's interested in, you might want to let Him open your eyes and do those things in you. Because what He's interested in is not just making you look better, it's to make you better. A better person on the inside. And if you give God the chance to transform you, you'll find that all those other things that you thought were important to you get better too. It's kind of the domino effect, right? In other words, if I give God my heart, my mind, my soul, my direction, I trust Him, I'm going to follow Him in 2023, guess what? He will make me a better husband. He'll make you a better wife. He'll make you a better father. He'll make you a better mother. He'll make you a better employer, right? All things will then begin to line up because every good and perfect gift comes from Him, and He's not going to lead you into calamity. He's not going to lead you into error, and He's not going to lead you into something bad. But why do we hesitate to trust Him is a big question in 2023. Who will I trust this year to lord or lead or guide my life so I don't end up running this life into the ground or crash and burn every year, trying something new? We're more concerned about the packaging. God's more concerned about your core and your eternity. Matthew 6, Jesus says this, you know this passage. So don't worry. First He asks the question, why do you worry? And then He says, don't worry. I care about everything you do, and I care about your life, and I care about the birds and the flowers, and I care about what you eat and you drink, and all the stuff that consumes your thinking, your time, your energy, your worry. He says, don't worry about that stuff. What shall we eat? What shall we drink? What shall we wear? For the pagans, people who don't know God, and some who do, run after all these things every year. Their New Year's resolution is some of that stuff. And your Heavenly Father knows that you need those things, so here's what God says. Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness. Seek His face, seek His will, seek His guidance, seek His counsel. Not just so you can argue with Him and tell Him you think you know better. The idea in seeking it is that you might know it so you might do it. And all these other things that you worry about will be given to you as well. So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has enough to worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Keep your focus on the things above. Keep your focus on Jesus. He will guide your life and make a success out of your life. Your life won't be spent spinning your wheels, just coping, getting by, hoping to, it's not surviving that He's after. He didn't create you for mediocrity, and He didn't create you just to be a consumer. He created you to reflect who He is and to experience an abundant life connected with Him and to make a difference on planet Earth, because this earth is tainted, right, by our sin and our bad choices that have come since Adam. And so now he says, join my team. Let's work to fix it. Let's bring light into the darkness. But you're going to have to trust me. I will finish the good work I began in you if you will trust me. And so it's like, okay, who's got the steering wheel of your life, right? You say, change is constant, the world will change. Will you change? Well, who's going to create or manufacture that change, and what's going to look like? All right. Your focus this year will reveal what's most important to you, what you trust, or who you trust most. It will reveal your wisdom, or it will reveal your folly. Again, in Matthew 6, Jesus says this, 6:24, no one can serve two masters. You can't serve you and God. You can't serve others and God. You can't serve culture. You can't serve money. You can't serve power. You can only serve one. And the question Jesus presents is like, are you wise enough to figure out that I'm smarter than you and everything I do is good, and will you trust me? That's the big question that he wants to pose to us. No one can serve two masters. You'll either hate the one because God's going to say, we'll swim upstream, and your flesh, your desires, your culture, your emotions are going to say, no, I want to go downstream. I want to go the easy route. God is going to say, turn left, and you're going to want to turn right. The question is going to become, when the rubber meets the road, what are you going to do on that day? Which is today. Each day has enough to worry about itself. Who are you going to seek today to please? And who will you trust? So you can't serve two masters. You'll hate one, love the other. You'll be devoted to one. And you're going to end up despising the other because they're not compatible until you surrender and say, God, whatever you want is what I want. So override mine and let's do what you want. And then you'll see on the back end, experientially, how good he is. So you can't serve both God and something else. So here's my challenge. Determine in 2023 to seek first God's face, his kingdom, and his righteousness. You'll find that his way is better, and he'll lead you into abundant life. And so here's where it comes into today's message, which we'll go into. It's going to take a recalibration for most of us. It's going to take a refocus, a redirection, a defiance, a rebellion to go against maybe your human nature, go against culture, go against what everybody else wants you to be and wants you to do, go against the norm, the status quo, and white-knuckle trust and determined to follow God's lead, to seek his face and to trust him. That's what it's going to take. He will never leave you or let you down, but will you trust him or continue to trust you? So here's what the prophet Jeremiah said in Jeremiah 17. This is what the Lord says. Cursed or stupid, foolish, use whatever word. We don't use the word cursed or cursed except when we want to do something, damn something, I guess. Foolish is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh, whose heart turns away from the Lord. Foolish is the one that won't trust God, but trusts in himself or trusts in other people more than God. That person will be like a bush in the wasteland. They will not see prosperity when it comes. They will dwell in the parched places of the desert in a salt land where no one lives. But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. This could be you in 2023, will be like a tree planted by the water, sends out its roots by the stream. It's always nourished. Does not fear when the heat comes. Political, pandemics, persecution, doesn't panic, doesn't wither. It doesn't fear when the heat comes, its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought, and that person will never fail to bear fruit. That's the person who trusts in God. That's my challenge to you. Because see, you got the key to your life and your future. Like I say, you got no one to blame but you for any regret, because they're choices that you've made. And so at the beginning of this year, 2023, I just want to encourage you and challenge you to trust God. Seek first His face. And so what we're going to do now, what we do as a church at Outlook every year for the first 3 weeks of the year, we start the year kind of kicking ourselves in the booty. We give ourselves a little liberty during the holidays, so it's like we do a 3-week fast. And that new term is new to you. It's setting aside of something and pursuing something else for a season, for a purpose, right? And so, there's many things and many different ways to fast. Some healthy and some not so healthy. We're not encouraging you to stop eating for the next 3 weeks or drinking water for the next 3 weeks. Don't get me wrong, right? Like that would be unhealthy. What we do want to encourage you to do is just to put aside things that hinder, put aside things that confuse, that clutter, that, such as social media, TV, take away the unhealthy stuff in your life. I ate a lot of sugar over the holidays. One of the things I do for the first 3 weeks of the year is no sugar, no sweets, right? And I get beat up by a piece of pie about 4 days in. It's all I can think about. And what you'll discover as you choose, and we want to encourage you, challenge you, we're challenging you to consider doing this for your own reasons, and then I'm going to give you another reason that we'll do corporately, is that you might know yourself. You might know, dang, how much of my life is spent doing things that don't matter, things that don't improve, increase, benefit, help me become a better person. It's like, how much money do I spend? We encourage you to stop spending for 3 weeks, except unnecessary things. Stop the unnecessary things. Oh, dang, I saved. Yeah. Just think if you saved that times 12. Dang. Let's go to Hawaii next January, right? Yeah, you could. So you see our lives, what happens is they just start flowing, right? We don't stop the flow. We don't pull off. We don't call a timeout. This is kind of the timeout in our life where we get the chance to kind of take hold of our lives and make some wise choices. And so we encourage you to take the next 3 weeks. It says psychologically that 21 days to start a new habit. I want you to begin 3 weeks, 21 days, to build new habits, new healthy rhythms in your life. We're going to suggest some for you here. On your seat was that page. And really, before you get started, so you got the rest of today to consider this, here's what you'll need. Girls call it a journal, guys. We call it a captain's log. Get something to write down what God says to you and what you're experiencing. Like, you're going to need a dedicated daily time and a place to meet with God, to sit and if you don't do this, I'll tell you, right? And so you got to fight for this stuff. You got to determine where and when am I going to do this, and then think about it through the rest of the day. And then before you go to bed would be another time and place. Like every morning would be a good time and place. Every evening. And if you get a chance in the afternoon, just take a pause out of your work and acknowledge God. Just say, God, I'm still got my eyes fixed on you. My ears are still attentive to you. You need a purpose, and then you need a plan. And so the first thing, and number one on your outline, is your why. Why would I even do this? Well, my encouragement to you is You could probably find a lot of whys. If I was to investigate your life, I'd give you a dozen. And I know it's like for me, the question for me is like, how bad do I want to be the best I can be? How bad do I want it? Am I willing to do something, or do I think I've arrived already? Do I think I've made it? I'm done. I'm the dude, you know? Or do I still have some things to work on? You see, one of the things that I just want to know God's heart. I got my list. I got my agenda. But what about His agenda for you in 2023? Do you want to know that? Oh, that might be a good question to ask for 3 weeks. God, give me a sense, give me an idea, give me an understanding of what I need to look at, what I need to work on. Give me an idea of what you want to do, not just in me, but what you want to do through me. And so those are a couple questions. You got to have a why. You got to have a purpose. You got to have a reason. Because without it, day 3 or 4, that piece of pie is going to become more important. You're going to forget if it's not compelling. It's got to be a compelling. You got to get down serious with you, right? Serious with you, serious with God, and say, I'm not just going to take it. We're not going to take it. Come on. Right? Defiance. I'm going to actually do something with my life this year, and I'm going to take back control, and then I'm going to give it to God to lead me, because He's smarter and He's better than me. His ways are right. And so what is my why? What do I hope to get out of it? What is on your heart? What is it your soul is longing for? Maybe it's healing. Go to the journey. Pursue your healing. It's a year for change. It's a year for action. It's a year where I'm encouraging right now as we kick off the year is like, get past the snow, fog, whatever obstacles, like, there's metaphoric, like, right? This year was so jacked up starting, it's just like, holy cow, are we going to ever start? Like, move through that and do it anyway. And do it for you. Number 2, what do you need to lay aside to help you maintain your focus? So like I said, we consider putting aside or pause on things that eat your time. Unproductive, energy-wasting things in your life. So what we've done as a church over the last 20 years, social media, TV, gaming, gaming like not just playing, games, but bubble popper and guilty, right? It's just like, because I could sit there and just think. I could stand in that line and pray for somebody instead. I could watch, be aware. So some of these things just steal our time. And, we encourage you to think about unhealthy habits, stop them for 3 weeks, and then try to decide whether you ever want to go back. We encourage you to get healthy, whether it's sugar, tobacco, alcohol, carbs, spending. And then we encourage you on your plan is to put into place things that will fill those gaps, because you're going to get real bored real quick. What do I do with my time? Well, pick up a book. Write a letter. Involve people in your fast. Involve people in your life that are pursuing similar things. Share. Pray for one another. Do that once a week. Go visit a neighbor. Go help somebody. Go mow somebody's lawn. Well, or shovel somebody's driveway. That'd probably be easier. Right? But you're going to have to consider these things. And this will grow. If you just do some basic things, what do you need to lay aside to help maintain your focus is the point. What is it you want? What is it you're going to do to help? And just get healthy. So at the end of the 3 weeks, you put forth your best effort. This is about perfection. If you fail, get back on the saddle and keep going. Right? It's not about no one's, did you eat that piece of candy? You failed. The whole fast is out. No. Get back on the saddle and make a determination and keep going. All right, number 3, pursue God. Put God right in the focus, right in your crosshairs. And you can do this for 3 weeks, every one of you. Even if you're new to God, just, God, I'm seeking your face. Reveal to me if you're real, if you're true. If you enjoy his presence, worship. Open the Bible. Seek his counsel. Write it down. And so that's what you're going to fill it up with a little bit. Talk to him about what's on your heart and then listen what's on his heart. Number 4, ask what does God want to do in you this year? And then ask what does God want to do through you? Like I say, most of our resolutions are about how can I improve me? And maybe God's want to say, how can I use you to bless somebody else? Oh, wait, it's not all about me? God, you're not here just to make me happy? No, I'm here to make you holy, and then I'm here to use you to change the world. I'm going to change you so you can change the world, but the darkness out there is never going to be penetrated until I penetrate the darkness in here. Would you let me do this work so that I can do through you what no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived? That he's prepared you. See, you're not just on planet Earth just for you. You're on planet Earth for others. And sometimes we don't even see people because we're so self-focused. And so the question needs to be, not only God, what do you want to do in me, but God, I want you to ask, what do you want me to do through me this year? Do you want me to sit in a pew the rest of the year? See, I'm convinced that's not what God died for. Do you want me just to show up for church every Sunday morning and, like Elaine was saying? No. See, you're in your spiritual development, your journey, you're going to discover God, you're going to experience God for the first time. It's going to blow your mind. And then you're going to start walking with God, and he's going to start changing and transforming you. But then you're going to find that you plateau at some point in time when it's all about you. It's not like it's never about you, and it's like it's not never about it. Yeah, there's some of it's about you, what God's doing in you, but then you're going to grow as you give yourself away. Just like they say psychologically, like, oh, you're depressed? You know what? Why don't you help somebody else? You see, it's a healing thing. As you involve yourself in other people's lives, you involve yourself in ministry, that it's not just about, it's how can I serve? How can I bless? How can I benefit? And as you sit around for 3 weeks bored, you start thinking about what can I be doing with my time right now that's not self-focused? What can I be doing with my time that's other-focused? God, what could you use me for today? Who in this world, in my life, my neighborhood, my friends, my work associates that I can think of and bless? Write a letter. You know, we don't do the things we used to do anymore in our culture. Like, give a call. Hey, what's up? I haven't talked to you for a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Oh, yeah, we're cousins, or you're my brother or my sister. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you see, it's just like we don't think about those things. So I'm going to ask you to think about them. Number 5, this is the last one. Who will you invite to join you this year? As Elaine said, we heal in community. We're broken in community. We're wounded in community. We also heal in community. God uses us in others' lives. He uses others in your life. It's a sharpening sword kind of thing. And I want to encourage you to join with others. We're going to be bringing some new stuff and nuances to this in the next couple of weeks. We'll be sending out emails in our church, family stuff that kind of just encourage you. And as we gear up for February, we're hitting the ground running. And I pray you join us this year on your journey, right? Or if you don't live in town here, join another church where you just join of people who are pursuing God. You're going to be so blessed by doing that. You won't get stuck in the ruts because your brothers and sisters will help you stay out of them. And you'll help them. All right. Just a couple quick notes, and then Mandy, I'm going to invite you back up. Replace the complicated, the anxious, and easily distracted with simple, healthy, and helpful. What should I lay aside? What should I add? Simple, simplify. Get healthy, and produce or put things in place that are helpful to the end that you're going. And then you're going to have to replace discouragement, the lack of faith, and negative voices with hope, truth, and people who will speak it into your life. It's so easy to get discouraged these days. You don't get perfect, grade on this fast, and it's easy to get discouraged. You start thinking after day 2 or 3, nothing's changed. Oh, will anything change? And so here's the point. I loved one of the songs that we sang this morning. Here at Outlook, we go and we take communion every week. See, really, it's about us meeting together, encouraging each other, worshiping our Father. Jesus says, when you get together, would you remember me? Remember the sacrifice that I made, because I didn't die for junk. You're not junk. And I didn't die to make you mediocre and sit in a pew the rest of your life. I died to make you passionate about living. I didn't die just so you could survive until you get to heaven. Get a ticket, wait in line, and do what? Get bored. It's like, no, I died to transform you so that you could live with purpose and passion and transform this world and actually live without regret and actually make your life meaningful, not just for what happens on planet Earth, because your life does not consist in the abundance of your possessions, Jesus said, right? It's not about how much you accumulate. In fact, your identity has nothing about what you got in the bank, how many letters you got on the back of your name, or what car you drive. It has nothing to do with that. It's whose are you, right? And until you get your identity, your self-worth, and who you are on planet Earth and what your purpose is. And so Jesus died, and he says, remember me, because there's so many ramifications to your life and living it well. One of my favorite passages that he who did not spare his son, but gave him up for you all, how will he, God, not only give you his son, but along with him, give you everything you need to live? Look that one up. How will he not with his son also provide everything that you need? So seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. Jesus says this, and we'll finish John 15:16. You did not choose me, but I chose you. I chose you, and I appointed you that you might go and bear fruit that will last. So my question for you is, will your life be fruitful, purposeful for somebody else, for God and for other people on the planet, because you let God finish the good work he began in you? And so I hope that's not scary. I hope that challenges you. Like I said, it's only scary for those who don't trust God, and that'll tell you where you're at. I don't know if I can trust him. I don't know if he's good. I don't know if he's capable. I don't know if he's smart enough. I think I know better. He doesn't have my happiness. No, he does. And he can, and he will. He promised to do so if you'll give him a chance. But here's the deal. Like I say, who's going to change your life? Well, the enemy, it says, comes in like a thief, right? What does a thief do? He breaks in. He'll bust into your house. He'll bust into your fast. He'll bust into your mind, and he'll rob, steal, kill, destroy. What God will do is this. See, you're going to have to open the door. You're going to have to choose to let God in. He's not going to bust in and do what he said he wants to do in your life. The enemy will. You're going to keep the door locked. He'll bust in and steal it, but God will just wait until you decide on January 8th, 2023, that I'm going to open the door and I'm going to give God a shot at being God in my life this year. I'm going to trust him. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who trust him, those who love him, those who will follow his lead. Like I said, I did, 1982, what was that? 40 years ago. White-knuckled it. Gave God a shot. Haven't been disappointed. Wouldn't turn back. The only thing that stands in front of me and him is me being stupid. So I want to challenge you as you take communion this morning to see it as this. Open the door of your heart and your life in 2023 and let God have a shot. He didn't just die so you would sit in a pew. He didn't just die so you could lip sync some songs and get a ticket to heaven. He died to change your life and to turn you into a warrior, that the enemy knows your name and the enemy is more scared of you than you are of him. That no matter what life throws at you, no matter what the devil throws at you, you're an overcomer in Christ. And he's given you that opportunity. That's his challenge to you. That's his offer to you. And so as you see, some outlookers are already standing up. We're going to drop the lights. Really, this is the most important time of this hour and a half we're together is what you do right now with God. And so that's his challenge in his word. Go ahead and hit the lights. We have 5 communion tables around the room. And we just want to give you a few minutes to meet with God. Have a heart-to-heart with God. The rest of the day, you get a chance to plan and prepare and find your purpose. We're going to kick things off starting tomorrow. And then we'll finish on the 29th with a night of worship on Sunday the 29th. But first day of the rest of your lives, right? Maybe you came this morning and you need Jesus in a bad way. And you don't want to step out of here without knowing that he walks with you. I want to invite you to come forward and invite our prayer team to come forward. We have the baptistry hot. It's a great way to begin the year with Jesus. Say, Lord, I'm done. This year is all about you and what you want to do in me. I give you my whole heart, my life, my attention, my focus. So if you need prayer or you want to receive Christ, come on forward. We'd love to celebrate that with you. I'd love to pray with you. Otherwise, just spend some time thinking and meditating and talking with Jesus.